Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lee, this is Dark Roots Creations, and today is going to be my top 20 favorite books of 2021. So originally I was going to do all of my 5-star books of the year. I thought there was actually going to be like maybe 10. It actually turned out to be 25. I thought that was a little excessive, so I wanted to narrow it down to 20. I'm not going to give a full account of each book. I'm just going to give like a little brief description of each one, so you kind of just get an idea without getting too much information about them. Let's get started. At the top, we're going with Elin Hilderbrand, who everybody knows I love. And the first book is Golden Girl. In this one, Vivian dies in a car accident and is sent to the Beyond, which enables her to watch her family for one last summer. She's granted 3 nudges to change the outcome of events or watch things unfold as they happen. I thought this book was a little bit autobiographical, whatever, follows like her as far as like an author, and she's a runner and a lot of things that are similar to Elin Hilderbrand. So in that way, it seemed just a little bit weird, but the story was really good. Next, we have 28 Summers. This is the story of Mallory Blessing and the 28 years she spends living on Nantucket, and she waits for one weekend of summer to spend with the love of her life, Jake McLeod. This is a book that had me bawling, crying in the car on the way home from work. That was before I even read the ending, but luckily it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but still definitely shed tears for this book. Next up is The Sixth Wedding. This is a sequel novella to The 28 Summers, and it picks up with Jake McLeod returning to Nantucket 3 years after the last time he was there. I'm so glad that she decided to write a follow-up to 28 Summers. I actually hope that she writes more like little novellas about other characters, because this was just what I needed coming off of my heartbreak of 28 Summers. Next are 3 books by another favorite author of mine, Debbie Newcomer, and these are all from the Blossom Street series. First up is the 5th book, 20 Wishes. Anne-Marie Roche wants to find happiness again after the recent loss of her husband. She stops into a good yarn and makes some fabulous friends on Blossom Street, as well as finds a new love in her life, a young girl named Ellen. Obviously, this is a series, so each book kind of progresses along. So we've already met characters who work at and own a good yarn. So it's kind of nice that we did catch back up with some other people, and those people got to know Anne-Marie, so that was really nice. Next up is number 6.5, The 21st Wish. This is a novella picking up on the previous book. Ellen and her mom have each written down 20 wishes, and they work to make them come true. But Ellen has a secret 21st wish she wants more than anything. Again, piggybacking off the other one, and these are just really sweet books, and I really loved hearing a little bit more from Ellen's side of things instead of Anne-Marie's this time. Next one is number 8, A Turn in the Road. This is about 3 generations of women who take off on a cross-country trip together, headed to a class reunion. Along the way, the women all find their lives taking unexpected turns. This was just, again, like such a feel-good friendship, family type of book, and I highly recommend it. Next, 2 books by another favorite author, Mary Kay Andrews. The first one is The Santa Suit. This is a heartwarming story about Ivy Perkins, who buys an old farmhouse when looking for a change in her life. Little does she know she bought 4 roses and all the contents of the house, which includes a Santa suit with a mysterious Christmas wish in the pocket. Of course, I just read this one for December, so it's just that perfect feel-good Christmas story that, like, you know what to expect, but you're still happy you're getting it. Also read The Newcomer, and in this one, Letty has to take her niece Maya and go on the run after finding her sister dead. She's trying to make a new life for Maya. She's hiding from those who are after them, and she's trying to figure out what happened to her sister. Again, with Mary Kay Andrews, this was a little bit predictable, but not in a bad way, and it actually had some great twists in it, so I really enjoyed this one. All right, next is one of my new favorite authors, Kathy Daly. She is a cozy mystery writer, and currently I have started 2 of her 3 Bay series. So there's the Inn at Holiday Bay, which I have not started yet, the Cottage on Gooseberry Bay, and the Resort at Castaway Bay. I've started reading them backward, not planned, just happened. So the first in this group of books is Lost and Found, which is number 2 at the Resort at Castaway Bay. In this one, Sydney Whitmore is a forensic psychologist who moves back to her family's resort on Shipwreck Island. She's simultaneously helping someone regain his memories while figuring out some details of her recent past. Meanwhile, she renews her relationship with Ezra Reinhold, a billionaire with a fondness for cold cases. I'm going to say right here, one of the great things I do love about Kathy Daly's writing, at least with the Bay series, is that there's sort of like 3 things going on at the same time. The characters always have a tragic backstory, so they're usually working on some mystery for themselves. They're also there working on a mystery or something, either they're a PI or just get caught up as an amateur sleuth working on something, so that's like a second mystery. And by the end of the book, they've already been introduced to what's going to be the 3rd mystery or the setup for the next book. I really like the way she does this. Wasn't something I've come across before in cozy mysteries, and it's something this year that I discovered I really love. Next is Thanksgiving Past. This is number 2 in the Cottage at Gooseberry Bay series. In this one, Ainsley Holloway came to Gooseberry Bay to get answers about her past, about the cop who rescued her from a fire that killed her family, and then he raised her. She also helps her newfound friends search for the truth about a family that vanished 5 years ago. Again, kind of the setup of she's working on her own, plus a mystery, and then there's a setup at the end, which, again, like I just said, I really enjoy. And last by Kathy Daly is number 6 in A Cottage at Gooseberry Bay, and that is A Summer Thing. In this one, Ainsley has continued to make a life for herself in the town while growing her PI business. She's juggling her cases and searching for the sister she never knew she had. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing what happens with the rest of the series, as well as starting the Inn at Holiday Bay this year. Now, I know Riley Sager is not controversial, but either a love or hate for a lot of people. I personally love his work. I don't find a lot of the problems that other people do. But for this one, I did pick The Last Time That I Lied. And in this one, 15 years ago, Emma Davis watched her cabin mates sneak out, never to be seen from again. Now she's going back to her old camp to find closure and move on. Soon, 3 new girls go missing, and Emma must figure out what really happened all those years ago. Again, some people might not like it. I really did. Another favorite author is Nora Roberts, and the book that I read this year that was 5 stars is Legacy. Adrienne Rizzo is the daughter of a famous yoga instructor, and at a young age, she built her own empire, and at the same time, she's been receiving death threats, which her mother assures her is just part of the gig. When Adrienne moves to her grandparents' house and the letters follow her, she knows it's more than just a crazed fan. I like Nora Roberts' more current writing because it's less of the cheesy romances and more has a story to it, which is usually what I'm interested in more than any romance part of it. So I really enjoyed this book and thought about it for quite a while afterward, which is something I really enjoy in the media that I consume, is when I think about it for a while after that, or it keeps popping up in my head. Next is The Death of Bees by Lisa O'Donnell. This is a coming-of-age story about 2 sisters who attempt to hold the world at bay after the mysterious death of their parents. It's also about the beauty of those living around them, all completely different from one another, and all helping each other out. I thought this book was completely underrated. I do think it's a UK, I'm 99% sure it's a UK book, so maybe we don't necessarily hear about it that much here in the United States, but I highly recommend it because it was really good. One of my next favorite books was The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. This is about Jane, who wants to live the housewife life of those living in Thornfield Estates, where she's a broke dog walker. Her luck changes when she meets Eddie, who's recently widowed. As their relationship unfolds, Jane finds herself living in the shadow of his late wife, Bea, and she wonders if she can measure up and win Eddie's heart. This is a retelling of Jane Eyre, and I know several people, including Storm, who, for the retelling of Jane Eyre part, think this story was horrible. I never read Jane Eyre, so I have no idea what they're talking about, so I don't know if that matters, but I really enjoyed this book. Next is another favorite author, and this is Colleen Hoover. I feel like normally I wouldn't be the type of person who likes her type of writing, but I do. I know some people are over it or are not into her, but I really enjoy it. And this 5-star book was Heartbones. After the death of her mother, Bea is forced to live with her father until she can go to college in the fall. She's now living in Texas with him, who she barely knows, along with his new wife and stepdaughter. She's trying to let the summer slip by so she can just make a clean exit. That is, until she meets Samson. I thought I was going to stop saying, and my favorite author, but here we go. This is Ali Carter's The Grift of the Magi, which is Heist Society novella number 3.5. This is about Katerina Bishop, a member of an infamous family of thieves. The tables are turned in this story when she's hired to retrieve a rare Fabergé egg that has been stolen days before it was to be auctioned off at charity. I wish so much that Ali Carter would continue the Heist Society series. I love these so much. I love the Bishop family, and I really enjoy these books. If you're into heist books, Ocean's 11, Italian Job type of things, these books are for you. I'm sure you've heard me talk about the next series a ton, and this is The Sisters Meadoros by Patrice Sarath. This is number 1 in the Tales of Port St. Frey. The Meadoros family, once a wealthy merchant family, has fallen from grace when the Merchant Guild turned on them and forced them to leave their home. The 2 sisters, Vivian and Tessara, know this was a setup and each use their own powers to get to the bottom of the betrayal and restore their family's name. So far, there's 2 books in the series. I believe there were supposed to be 3. Right now there's 2. I would love it if a 3rd book came out because I think we would just be getting started on the adventures. Next up is The Ghostwriter by Ar Torre. This is about a famous author who's living her final days and wants to put aside her fictional characters to tell her own story, the real story of what happened to her when she lied to the police and her family and friends. I really don't want to say anything else about this book. This was such like an unexpected surprise for me, so I would recommend, if you like thrillers, picking this one up. And last on the list is The Renegade Reporters by Elisa Brent Weissman. This is a middle grade story about three friends who, after getting kicked off of their school's reporting team, decide to form their own news show. They soon stumble upon a big lead. The school software company has been gathering data about all the students. It's up to the underground news to find out the truth and report it. Great middle grade story. I would love if they did more. They never said this was a series. I just think that they could go further with this. A lot of good lessons in this, lots of diversity in this, and I really enjoyed this. How many times can I say this? Anyway, guys, that's it. That's my top 20 favorite books of 2021. I've watched a lot of people do their wrap-ups, especially during Vlogmas. But if anybody would like to tell me what their favorite books of 2021 were, please let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.